Hello, and this is the tomato sauce making morning. So I've got a few things with me, just can show you. I've got my mother's supersonic machine, and you know, the tomato sauce goes through there. The peel stuff gets discarded through here, and the tomato sauce pours down this way. So other things you might need, some big pots. Not sure if this one is going to be too big. I might use it for the boiling of the jars. We also have a couple more jars, pots, just in case it's easier to get the sauce going in batches. We've got our jar stuff, nicely cleaned jars, lids, some from last year. We just top them with saran wrap and keep them clean until the next year. And we've got our lovely tomatoes, and Colleen, my neighbor, is coming over with more. So it's an exciting day. Let's see. Okay, we're getting going here. So we've got our tomatoes, and this is Colleen.
Hello.
Yes, so
How do
we
you say hello and ciao.
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 Buongiorno. All right, so we're getting the tomatoes going, and yeah, we were just having a discussion as to how large or small to cut the tomatoes, and I think Colleen's got it just right. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just how quickly or slowly they will cook, because they all get mashed up. But just so we can do this faster, even though we love it so much, we're gonna go for bigger pieces so we can enjoy the sauce that much faster. All right, anything else? Okay, we've got our pot ready, and I already did a little go around, so we'll talk to you later.
Oh my God. Once or twice, and then they'll know exactly what to do.
Yeah, it helps.
And then they can add on to it for their kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, we have our tomatoes that are cut up, and we have put them in our big pot here. And you can see how they're beginning to break down. And you always want to check to make sure there's a little bit of water on the bottom. You may drain it eventually, but it does help cook the tomatoes so they're not burning on the bottom. These look lovely. Now I did add a little bit of salt. How much? Good question. Maybe about a tablespoon to this big pot, but I'm gonna taste it later and see what it's like. I really think that I'm gonna have to add some more later, but we'll see.
How high?
Okay, just a reminder for next year, the first batch may be a little watery and we have to make a few adjustments. This is now a lot thicker. can see how lovely and thick this is now. Okay, and this is the jarring process. We have our tomato sauce, kind of a good consistency. Have to tweak it a little bit by draining some of the cooked tomato or adding liquid. It's a bit of a balancing act. And I'm just filling the jars up just before I test it in terms of saltiness and add, or I guess I can't take away, but I'm typically adding a little bit. Tastes good. And that's the only real ingredient. Then after this, I put the lids on, and we're just stacking them on the side, and then we'll boil them. So here it is. I'll just grab the lid, just pop it on, and this is what's going to be affected when we boil the jars. It's going to create that little vacuum, and you hear those little, what would you call them, Colleen? Like, yeah, just a little pop that shows that it's been sucked in and sealed properly. There is a little rubber thing around these lid tops that can kind of get compromised. That's why we're going with the new lids, but I do have some on reserve in case we need them. And this looks perfect. I mean, we've got the seal all around. It's not damaged or anything, and we could certainly reuse this, but always good to use the new ones, especially for just that. And the lid part, I mean, we just reuse these from previous years. All right, that's it. All right, Colleen and I are still alive and well after after 6 hours, just over 6 hours of doing tomats. Oh, okay, we can check this out next year. So 6 hours, how many jars did we say approximately we're at right now? 30?
I don't remember.
Let's say 40. We're at 40 jars. So we're getting about 11 per bushel, right? Kind of like that?
Something like that.
All right, so this is the last part of the process, and you can see I use some of our linens to make sure that the jars do not bump into each other too much when they boil, when the water boils, and just helps, I think. So the water has been boiling, come to a boil for about 15-20 minutes. I think 20 minutes makes me feel better. And you want to see there are little bubbles on the top. I don't know if I can get, this one hasn't been processed yet, but you can see a little bubble that's a bump on the lid. And eventually, after they boil and I take them out, some kind of transformation happens with the molecules. Don't ask me what. I think it creates a little vacuum and it sucks the lid in, so it has a really nice seal. So you do eventually, they sometimes do a little knock, and you can hear them popping, and the lids on the top are concave, and that's what you want to see. And you don't want to see any jars that you know, are full to the top, because that means that they have sucked in some water from the pot. So I'm going to just remove these with this fancy gadget. No assembly required. So just pulling them out of the boiling water, and I've been using the same water, and I just put the other ones in. It would be nice to have a bigger pot and do them all at once, like I thought we would this year, but I didn't find the pot. So here we go, and we can see that there's still a little room at the top, which tells me that they have not sucked in any water. So I'm going to just pull these out, handle them carefully, This process always seemed the most dangerous to me when I was a kid. I don't know, maybe it is. Or maybe my mom just made it seem that way.
I definitely think it is.
Yeah, yeah. And they would do their bottles like all at once in a big one, like with a little propane tank thing happening. And they would, I don't want to say often, sometimes get jars that were broken, right? For whatever reason, if it was the knocking about that caused that or something. So I'm putting them right back in the same boiling water. Oops, this one's kind of hitting the side. And you want the water to be about an inch past the top of the jar so that you know they're totally submerged. And then as I put these in, of course the water gets displaced and it's going up. And when I get the last one in, I've been able to get about 7 in at once. Now the middle part sticks out a little bit. See if I can move it over so that the jar sits low. There we go. Now it's submerged and the last jar will just displace a little more. And you can see that. So it is, I'd say about an inch, maybe slightly shy. I'm gonna just take, you know, of course the little water probably evaporated and some popped out because when it gets to boiling it does seem to pop right out. And I'm gonna put the linen back on. Ooh, hot. And I'm just gonna poke it into sort of the side so that it's not bumping against the pot, and hopefully not my best job here. There, let's stretch it out a little more. That's a little better. And let's get this one on. Then we're going to put it back on the burner. It's getting pretty hot in the kitchen. Alrighty. Colleen and I are talking about buying a place in Italy. Sicily, to be, well, maybe Sicily. Alright. Wouldn't that be cool? A little rustic place.
Yeah.
No running water or electricity. Cement walls that have been there for hundreds of years. Okay, we're gonna put this back on the burner. And we did lower it, but I'm gonna put it back to 8. Should be okay. So on the high side, I might lower it once it starts boiling, but this will get it boiling pretty quick. And boil for about 20 minutes, take it off the burner, let them cool slightly, and then I set them aside. I kind of put a little blanket so that they cool off slowly, and hopefully they snap so that the lids are sealing. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. This is day 2. Don't we look fresh? And it's pretty early. That's 8:15 and we're like in the throes of the process. So we had a little bit of a challenge with lids and flats. We'll know to stock up on some. We have like kind of 2.5, 3 bushels left, plus everything that Colleen has already done this morning, which is more than a pot full. We may have 2 potfuls here.
I think close.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so we're gonna introduce the small jars just so that you can make some sauce and throw it into soups or stews or with veal cutlets, or if you need it for even 1 pizza or 2 pizzas. Well, maybe 1. So we've got our pots going. Got all of the tomatoes Colleen cut up. And I put about 2 handfuls of salt. per pot this size. And this is our jarring or canning thing. But I want to show you all the nice ones that we've done that have been sitting overnight. And we counted them this morning. And there's 70 in all of this stuff here. Cool, eh? All right, well, this is early in the morning while we're still fresh. We may show you a little contrast of at the end of the day to see how lovely and fresh we look and how much crankier we get. But that's it for today. We've got, how many are we expecting?
I'm gonna guess 50.
Another 50 jars, like the big ones. So we
Yeah.
have to do the conversions. I'll say 30. We'll see. That's a big difference. Can't be 30. Yeah. Okay, I'll go 40. Yeah, 40. That's my guess. Where's the... Yes, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so this is the end of the day. We're done. We've got a few more just to, what? I don't know if I'm showing you. Yeah, we got a few more just to boil. So we're recapping because we got like some crazy numbers happening.
We did. So
Yeah.
140 large. Well, we
Equivalent.
did- yeah, equivalent of 140.
140. That's
Yeah, it's
3
huge.
times as much as we
We did.
should have gotten. No, that's
No.
300 times more than last
It's
year.
100 times more if you look at the number of bushels we did last year to this year.
Mm-hmm.
We redeemed 100% greater amount.
50%. So
100.
yeah, that's right. Almost 100. So let's say
Pretty
last
close.
year we kind of said 50. So let's say last year we did 11 or 12 big jars per bushel. And I think your number this year was 17.
17 and a half.
17 and a half.
Percent.
Okay, so
Yeah.
almost 18. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is almost 100%. That's right. Holy crap. Anyway, so we figured out there's reasons
Tricks
for that.
to it, yeah.
So one thing, and I don't know how you didn't lop off a finger, the way you were coring them,
yeah, to
rather
save
than slice off the
heat.
top.
Yeah.
You were coring them. That was,
Right.
those knives were good.
Yeah, they were.
The other thing we did was we put, so when the peel and seeds came out, for each batch, we put them back in the machine and squeezed them through again. So that added, but we figured out that the
4
biggest...
days before.
Yeah, 4 days before. So
Lay
4
them
days
out.
before we, in processing day, we should lay them out
To ripen up, yeah.
to ripen up more. This year we did 3 days, and then the 4th day was today because we kind of left it. But we
Exactly.
noticed that the tomatoes we were working on today were riper than yesterday. Some of them were probably even more so ripened because we left them inside as opposed
Yeah.
to leaving them in a cooler. But yesterday's overnight temperature was warmer as well.
Exactly. And today, I think we did 3.5 bushels. But we got the same amount as 4.5 that we did yesterday. And we got the same amount because they were more ripe.
Isn't that crazy? Honestly.
So it pays off to leave them for some time. Did you say to bring them in the night before?
I think that's a
In
good,
the house?
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that could have added to those tomatoes and how you can squeeze stuff out of them, right? If they're warmer
Yeah, exactly.
or the way you're cutting. When you cut, Colleen mentioned that she had more moisture on the board today because they were,
Just that extra day
a
and
day older.
different
and
temperature. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy cool. Like, honestly. We're so brilliant. Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone would be saying, duh, of course. Anyways, it took us a while to figure that out, so it is brilliant. All right, anything else? So we did 8 bushels. and we got 140, equivalent to 140, you know, large, not the extra large baptism
like 32
style.
ounce bottles.
Yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. And we're still happy and we're still
Yay.
friends.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah.